Welcome to Subramani. What happens when you lose your spouse? Actually, I have found in very many cases, or in most of the cases that I am dealing with, there's only one person who at the age of 75 or something, he lost his wife. In most of the other cases, especially it is the younger women who have lost their husbands. So there are more widows I know than widowers. And what are the real impact? First of all, the change, which is the change number one, is your role and responsibilities change. So if let's say you're a woman that I'm addressing, and your husband was making all the electricity bill payments, gas payments, and filling up the gas in the car, or petrol in the car, or diesel in the car, all that was being done by your husband, and you didn't have a driver. Now suddenly you will have to do all that, right? So you may not even know how to do it. In the sense, of course, in India you just drive to a petrol pump and get your car petrol filled up or diesel filled up, your fuel filled up. You'll now have to handle that. I know women who have said, I don't know how to withdraw money from an ATM, qualified doctorate, but she didn't know how to withdraw money from the ATM. I'm not holding it against her, but what happens is, when you do division of labor, chances are that you don't know anything of certain big chunks and important chunks of life, right? So you need to know how to file your tax returns. You need to, once upon a time, you even needed to know how to defrost your fridge. Today you need not know that, because all of us have frost-free fridges. So many of these things which you don't know how your spouse was doing, that is going to be a big challenge, right? So suddenly you're now the CEO of the house and you're the CFO of the house. If you have children, it helps, but if you don't have children, maybe it's a little easier, saying you don't have to anyway answer to anybody. I mean, there are people who assume that, I remember a friend saying, oh, now that my father has died, his father died at not a very old age, maybe he was 71, 72. I think my parents' expenses will go down, or rather my mother's expenses will go down. Actually it didn't, it actually went up, because his father was not a person who liked to travel, and he would not do anything. He was a very simple guy. He would not go out and eat, he would not travel, he should not spend, he would not help people. I mean, he was just like that. So suddenly when the wife or the widow started getting the pension, in fact the pension that she's getting now, she's now 87, 88. Now the pension that is getting is far greater than the pension which they were getting as a couple. So her cash flow has improved. She's helping her brothers, she's traveling with friends. Of course, the travel has now come down because she needs somebody from the family to travel with her. So her expenses actually increase, so, right? So the cash flow could actually, you could need more money. It's also possible that the husband was doing a lot of charity, etc., and the wife doesn't do, so cash flow could change. So it's very important to know that, yes, when the death of a spouse happens, cash flow will change. Whether it will go up, whether it will decrease, I don't know, but you have to now manage your cash flow. You don't have anybody else to blame for things going wrong. You're responsible for it, whether it's your electricity bill being high or low or whatever, right? Things don't change much. Electricity bill doesn't change. If a couple was using the AC in the nights or during the day or whatever, then chances are the wife will use the AC in the night. So electricity bill doesn't change, the newspaper bill doesn't change, subscription to channels doesn't change. Maybe one channel goes away, a sports channel goes away, or another channel comes in, whatever. Some of those changes will happen, but those are very small and insignificant. So your big major changes don't happen. You continue to have your cook, you continue to have your maid, you continue to have your driver, right? So those changes don't really happen, and those are the biggest expenses for a couple, right? Of course, the biggest expense is taxation. So the taxation, there will be some changes, but other than that, think about it. Think about what the cash flow implications are, because none of us want to play this role play and see what happens, right? So you're assuming, oh, somebody will take care. If the woman with a kid, she's assuming, oh, my children know it, and the children are saying, oh, it's my mom's job to do it, right? So you find that. So I'm not saying do a role play, but once in a while let your spouse spouse look at all your investment and ask, why is this investment, what is not this investment. Another important change is, I know many husbands who are very passionate about creating portfolio, so they create a very complicated big portfolio, right? Real estate, REITs, and insurance, retirement plans, tons of things, and the wives are really confused about what to do. So in this case also, it's stupid to build a portfolio which your spouse is not interested in handling. So you should sit down with your spouse and say, okay, I have such a complicated portfolio, what do you want me to do, right? And there are women who say, oh, don't sell the gold, don't sell that house in Trivandrum, it is very nice, that Bangalore house was the first house we bought, or some such shit. But if you have a more complicated portfolio, rest assured your kids are not interested in that portfolio. They will not come to help you. So it is your job to go clean up your portfolio before you die. And that indicator could be age of 60, age of 65, age of 70. At some stage you move out of complicated assets to simple assets. So do that. If your husband has not done that, you will have to do that as the first thing. There will of course be changes in insurance and what you perceive as risk. So suddenly the spouse does not need any insurance, especially if she does not have children, right? So whatever life insurance you have, just surrender it. You may not need it, right? Of course, if there's a loan, doesn't matter. Once you're dead, what happens to your assets is completely your somebody is going to inherit, will pay off the loan and all that. So that does not really bother you. But you will need a lot of medical insurance for yourself. So make sure you have that. Make sure you have somebody, let's say you're a 60-year-old widow and you are staying alone. Maybe a live-in full-time maid is going to be useful, because there's going to be somebody who will answer to you in case of an emergency. I'm not saying 60-year-olds are worried about living alone. I mean, we all sleep in hotel rooms, we are alone, so all that does happen. But in case you're afraid, in case you need company, all that, maybe a live-in maid could be very useful. So find that out also. So insurance changes, risk management changes, right? What you perceive as risk changes. Maybe you are just 60, but you will still move into a senior citizen home because you are lonely, right? So all those things are possible. Keep all those options open. So what is risk and risk management changes when one spouse dies, right? You will now also have to handle all the investments and estate planning, because if your husband has died and left you with all the assets, you need very simple assets. Let's say your expenses are 1.5 to 2 lakhs per month, then, and you're 60 years of age. It is assumed that you will live for another 30 years. So for 30 years you need about 7 crores. Now what if happens if you have 30 crores or 40 crores, right? So you can simplify your portfolio first. So keep simplifying your portfolio, decide what is to be given to whom, but make sure that you give it only at the end of your life. But if you want to give away, you can start giving away, because you have a hard stop at 7 crores. So from 40 crores you can come down to 20 crores, it won't hurt you at all, right? So think about all that. Investments will change, risk will change, estate planning will change, right? Tax planning will change. You will have to file your husband's return as a representative assessee. But after all that money comes to you, you will perhaps end up paying more tax, because you have only one exemption limit of 12 lakhs. Now suddenly, let's say your husband had an income of 20 lakhs as dividend and you had 20 lakhs as dividend. Now suddenly you will have 40 lakhs dividend. There is no way how you can come to a lower level. So yes, you will pay more tax. So tax planning, thinking about it, giving away shares, etc., right when you're alive makes more sense. I know a person, or rather I advised a person to open a demat account for his servant and start giving away his shares, because that way his dividend goes down, he does not have capital gains, and that's a very sensible thing to do. So some of these tax planning ideas, some of this you implement while you're alive, because you don't need so much of income. You have 40 crores of assets, you have maybe 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs or 70 lakhs of income. You need maybe only 10 lakhs of income to live by, or maybe 20 lakhs of income. So keep reducing your income, stop taking the income, do more accrual, right? All these things are all part of life. And when you've been widowed recently, I'm just assuming for a minute that the husband was handling all the finances, it may perhaps be important for you to watch some of my videos and learn what are the basic things to do. Thank you.